Hello, and welcome to my channel. This is my first video, and if you're watching, thank you for being here. Before we get into it, I want to briefly explain who I am and why I'm making this video. I am a journalist. I've worked in print and photography, and I recently finished my master's degree in journalism in Ireland. What I want to talk about today sits right at the intersection of traditional media and online culture. This video is about why traditional media keeps losing when it tries to confront online extremists, even when it believes it's holding them accountable. There's been a lot happening over the few years: social media, algorithm-driven outrage, and now AI, all of which have fundamentally changed how information spreads. But rather than talk about this in abstract, I want to focus on a very specific moment that clearly shows the problem. Recently, Piers Morgan had Nick Fuentes on his show. For anyone who isn't chronically online, Piers Morgan represents a very traditional media approach with confrontational interviews, gotcha questions, and the idea that exposing someone's views on television will reveal who they really are. Nick Fuentes, on the other hand, is a product of online debate culture. These two worlds operate by completely different rules. Nick Fuentes is an American far-right white nationalist who has been banned from multiple platforms because of his views. You may have seen his name more frequently in news lately. This video is not about defending him, and it's not about praising Piers Morgan either. What I'm interested in is the intersection between them and what it tells us between how badly traditional media understands this online political ecosystem. I'll link the interview in the description so you can watch it for yourself. I'm not here to tell you who has won morally and who was right or wrong. What I want to show you is a clash of cultures, one that has real consequences for politics and public trust. Throughout the interview, Morgan repeatedly plays clips and quotes meant to shock, shame, or embarrass Fuentes. In traditional media, this has always been the playbook. If you can expose someone as offensive or extreme on air, you discredit them. You show the audience who they really are. The problem is that this strategy no longer works. Online political culture, especially on the far right, is built around shock, provocation, and immunity to shame. Someone like Fuentes has spent years debating strangers online, trolling critics, and being attacked far more aggressively than anything a TV interview can offer. So when Morgan tries to engineer a gotcha moment, it fails completely. Fuentes isn't embarrassed. He isn't caught off guard. He says exactly what he believes openly. He has stated both before and during the interview that he thinks Hitler is cool, and that racism is universal. In the current political climate, even statements like that no longer trigger the kind of pearl-clutching reaction traditional media expects. For some audiences, blunt honesty, even when it's horrific, is seen as authenticity. This is one of the reasons figures like Donald Trump have been so successful. Saying this quiet part out loud works, and the modern world has learned that refusing shame is political strategy. This isn't about Piers Morgan being liberal or conservative. He isn't known as a progressive voice, but he still operates within an old media framework that assumes exposure equals accountability. In this interview, that assumption collapses. If we talk about performance here, I want to be very clear about what that means. I'm not talking about who is morally right or whose ideas are better. I'm talking about who is better adapted to the format. And in that sense, Fuentes was never under pressure. This environment is familiar to him. Morgan was fighting on terrain that no longer exists. What was meant to be an attempt to reveal the truth about Fuentes instead became a platform, one that introduced his ideas to a far more mainstream audience than he would normally reach. People watching this don't walk away thinking, that guy was exposed. Many walk away thinking, this is why I hate media, or this is why the media attacking someone who's just being honest. That's the real failure. We can't pick fights we're not equipped to win. We can't confuse airtime with accountability. And we can't keep pretending that simply showing someone's beliefs will discredit them. The solution isn't to abandon journalism. It's to go back to basics, but with modern tools and a modern mindset. People who grew up online process information differently. News breaks instantly. Context competes with virality. Anyone can fact check or misrepresent anything within seconds. So why are we still reporting and confronting power the way we did 20 years ago? I don't have all the answers. I can't fix it on my own. But I want people to notice what's happening and to understand that these media failures aren't accidental. They're structural. If journalism wants to survive, it has to stop mistaking exposure for impact. I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope you found it interesting. If there are any topics you'd like me to talk about, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will be trying to upload on a regular basis. What the basis will be, I can't be sure, but if you enjoyed it, please subscribe. That would really help me out. I will get better at these videos with time, so if you thought this needs work, I know, I'm working on it. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.